Hi guys, thanks for tuning in to another video on ForgottenWeapons.com. I'm Ian McCollum and I'm here today at the Rock Island Auction Company taking a look at some of the guns that they are going to be selling in their upcoming September of 2018 Premier Firearms Auction. What we have here today is a Rock Island Arsenal, not to be mistaken with the auction company, they just happen to be located in the same city, Rock Island, Illinois. This is a Rock Island M15 General Officer's pistol. And so this is one of the pistols that was actually issued out to general level officers. Now, before there were these, the Army issued what it called the Colt Model M, which was basically the Pocket Hammerless, Colt 1903 or 1908 in 32 auto and 380 calibers. That was the official general officer's pistol that was issued. Well, by the 1960s, they were starting to run out of those, and Colt had stopped making them after World War II. So the Army was facing a problem, and the Army actually didn't really do anything proactively about it. Instead, a guy named Dale Hoffman, who was the supervisor of small arms at the Rock Island Arsenal, he had been working on his own shortened and improved and really nice little 1911 project, and he finished it up. He basically shortened the barrel to 4 1/4 inches and did a bunch of national match style accuracy improvements, modifications to the gun. He finished that up, and then recognizing the imminent shortage of Colt Model M General Officer's pistols, he proactively submitted it to the Army for evaluation. This is something that doesn't happen all that often, and it almost never results in something being adopted. Normally, if you come up with a cool gun idea and present it to the Army, they're not going to be in a position where they think they need something new, and you're going to have really quite an impressive firearm to actually convince them to buy it. Well, in this case, the Army got this gun for evaluation and looked at the situation and went, yeah, I guess we kind of are going to run out of those things. Maybe we should come up with something. And so in 1971, they decided to hold a trial for general officers' pistols. So basically, thanks Supervisor Hoffman for presenting us with this nice compact 1911. Let's get some other stuff and see how they all compare. And so they put together a trial. 4 other companies submitted pistols. Colt submitted a 9mm Series 70 1911. Smith & Wesson submitted a Model 39 automatic. Walther submitted what apparently was just a totally stock P38, or P1 at that point. Oh, and Smith & Wesson submitted a second Model 39. They had one that was aluminum frame and one that was steel frame. So 4 other pistols plus this guy. They went through a bunch of testing, and there were some interesting results. One of the Smith & Wessons was the most reliable gun there. The other Smith & Wesson had a habit of doubling a lot, firing 2 shots with 1 trigger pull. So that was, I don't know how they balanced that out. The P38 turns out to have been the worst reliable pistol of the whole batch, with 46 malfunctions per 1,000 rounds fired, which is pretty awful. And the testing ended up deciding, well, yeah, Hoffman's Rock Island Arsenal 1911 does appear to be the best of the guns in this batch. So let me go ahead and show that gun to you at this point. Basically, what we have here is a 1911 with the barrel shortened from 5 inches to 4 1/4 inches. That's 108 millimeters. Retains the standard frame, so takes standard magazines. They hold 7 rounds. It has also then been modified with a number of national match sort of modifications. The trigger is quite good. The sights are rather larger than normal. These are national match type sights. The right-hand grip has this little Rock Island Arsenal escutcheon in it. The left-hand grip on all of these guns was set up with this little metal, blank metal plate in it, and this was there specifically to be inscribed should anyone want to do that. So some of these are inscribed with an officer's name, and some of them, like this one, are not. After a bit of back and forth memo and discussion inside the Ordnance Department, they decided to go with General Officer Model, RIA, Rock Island Arsenal, for the slide markings. And on the right side of the frame is the serial number, and all of the serial numbers start with the abbreviation GO, General Officer. So this is number 730. For what it's worth, General Officer number 1, the very first one that they converted, went to Major General Harry Rasmussen, who was the Commandant of the Rock Island Arsenal, and that was issued to him on November 30th, 1972. As part of the conversion process, Hoffman developed his own basically miniaturized sort of, or shortened, guide plug and recoil rod. So That sticks out when the thing cycles. We can go ahead and take that apart just like a standard 1911, although this is a pretty tight spring. There we go. So he took the guide rod bushing, the plug here, and hollowed it out at the front so that the guide rod will come through this plug rather than trying to make a short guide rod to fit inside there. Now, the Rock Island Arsenal manufactured these. We'll touch on that in a moment, but they didn't actually make them from scratch. They converted them from existing 1911 A1 pistols. And let me see if I can get a good camera angle that'll show it. You can actually see, yeah, you can see just little tiny bits. There you go. Colts, FA. This is USA. It says you can just barely make it out. I can't quite get a good camera angle on it, but you can read Hartford, Connecticut here. This is the remnants of the original Colt slide legend on what began life as a 1911 A1 pistol that was then converted into a General Officer's model. A few other modifications made. Note the front of the grip frame is stippled. The trigger has an over-travel set screw, and it has serrations. So all the basic sort of national match upgrade package were added to these guns. In October of 1972, this was formally adopted as the M15 General Officer's pistol, and between 72 and 1974, the Rock Island Arsenal converted just over 1,000 of these, 1,004 of them, into M15 pistols. These were not made from scratch. They were modified, converted from existing 1911 A1 pistols. So in fact, as you saw in this one, there are even little bits of the original slide markings just barely visible. So the last of those was issued out in the mid-1980s, and after this, the Army would turn to some kind of more general stock pistols for General Officers pistols. They would issue standard 1911 A1s and, of course, then Beretta 92s. So this was kind of the last of the specialty custom-made General Officers pistols. And